Hey guys, it's Chris with Drop Dice. So I'm back again this week. I was just with you guys a minute ago, but essentially what happened was earlier this week. Again, my audio is crap here, so I'm just doing this video again that I shot earlier this week, talking about it's okay to start with the basic idea of the video. And unfortunately, this one's probably going to be a little shorter than the last one. Is it's okay to start with a basic rough concept or a trope and then expand on it and create something that's even better. Now, the first thing that I want to direct you guys to is inside the description section of this video. There's actually going to be a link to tabletopterrors.com. There's an article I wrote with a bunch of questions inside there, and I'm going to talk about those questions during this video and how they can help you. So one of the things, sorry, like I said, I've got the video playing on another screen because I'm trying to check my audio. It sounds like it's still crackling a little, so I do apologize about that, guys. But essentially, with the questions and things like that I brought up inside the article, it's going to help you guys kind of flesh out and develop. Now, I think D&D has a great set inside there to kind of help direct you, but I think L5R has a better set of things to help you direct and make a character without feeling like, I'm the best at something, or, I'm going to build just a grappler who's really good at grappling. Which it's okay to start that way. I think Fate has another great thing, and let's kind of we'll start with Fate, actually. In Fate, what they have is what's called the high concept. The high concept is essentially you say, I am a blank, or I do blank, or this is something about my character. It's the thing that is definitively what your character is. So I believe the Fate book has a description inside there that says, like, I'm a detective is kind of the first idea, and they're like, that's good, but you should elaborate and give it a little bit more detail. Like when I played the Avatar: The Last Airbender one shot on Lloyd's channel, I made a Earthbender with something to prove. I wanted an earthbending inside there so that I could play an Earthbender, but he had something to prove, which was kind of definitive of his character. And if you watch the gameplay, like there was another character that was kind of proud in what he could do and things like that. And so my character, along with his character, went back and forth, and we had this healthy competition thing. And it was a lot of fun, actually, both for us as players, and I assume for the GM, because he was kind of laughing at our shenanigans too. But it was actually quite a bit of fun to be able to do stuff like that. And the one thing that was kind of cool about Fate is that you then talk about your aspects about your character, and it basically roughs out how your character should be played. I think that's a really good system, but the main thing that I think you should take away is the aspect. When you design your characters, don't start with, like, I'm going to be a grappler. Be like, I'm going to be a grappler who is seeking enlightenment. That sounds more interesting than I'm just a dude who grapples people. And then expand upon that. Pick out a background that really helps kind of sell what you're building for your character. If you're playing D&D, or if you're doing Legend of the Five Rings, they have that 20 questions section. Now, if you do follow that article, you're going to see some questions that have basically been reworded from the Legend of the Five Rings versions, and then a couple new questions inside there. That is entirely because I love those questions so much. In fact, as a GM, I typically require my players to fill out the 20 questions when we play Legend of the Five Rings, because it gives me a lot of feedback. And if you were to select some of those questions inside there, fill them out, and give them to your GM is going to have that stuff to be able to pull forward and prep for his games, to make it shine, to make it seem pertinent, and show that, if you take the time to build your character background, they're going to put 100% back into that game. And really, really develop it. Now, if your GM's not doing that, that's another video for another time with GM tips. But for you as a player, you're going to find that you get more enjoyment out of a character that feels more fleshed out than a character that's kind of tropey, one-trick pony. Now, the other thing that I wanted to bring up inside that video is that, if you do start with that trope, and that's all you have going into the game, that's totally fine. Honestly, it really is. Instead, what you should do is explore your character through gameplay. Interact with things, change his personality as he goes through the story and things like that. And don't feel like your character who starts the story has to be the same person as who he is when he ends the story. Think about any good literature. A character develops and changes, or even movies, they develop and change, and they're never really the same by the time it's done. Even if you look at something like, let's say, Die Hard, at the beginning of the movie, he's kind of like this one type of character. And I'm talking about the original Die Hard. The later ones get a little crazy. But he's this one type of character, and he's kind of happy. He's going home, blah, blah, blah. And then he gets wrapped up in everything. And then by the end of it, he's kind of jaded, and it's like, I just want to be home for Christmas kind of thing. Like, he's kept more or less his core, but his personality has shifted. Now, if you watch the other Die Hards, you see that he's a little bit closer towards who he is at the end of the movie rather than at the beginning of the movie. But that's totally fine. Another great example is like the Assassin's Creed Ezio Auditore series. If you play the game, even in the first game that Ezio appears in, he is totally different at the beginning of that game as he is at the end of the game. And then if you play through a series and you see him through different stages in life, he's changed drastically, done different things, and become a whole different person than the kid that was throwing rocks and starting a street fight. And I feel like I'm safe not spoiling that for everybody. I hope so. If you are feeling like I spoiled the Ezio Auditore series for you, I'm sorry, but not really. You probably should have played it by now. But yeah, ultimately, the thing about your character is it's okay to start kind of bland and develop it and add it through there. So I mean, if you're a new player and you're watching this player series and you're concerned because you've got some people that have been gaming for a long time and you feel intimidated, don't feel intimidated. Start with something you feel comfortable with. Be like, hey, I really wanted to make my character be a fencer. I really like the idea of someone who is like, I challenge you to a duel and smack somebody. If you want to play that character and enjoy it, but develop it as you go through. And those other people that are at the table should be able to help you out with that and kind of point you in the right direction of different things that could help you out overall. That's pretty much all I had for this one. I really wanted to get you guys kind of thinking about what you can do with characters, starting with kind of a basic concept and really fleshing it out from there. Like I said, there is going to be some questions that will help prompt and push those ideas for you at that Tabletop Terrors link in the description. Also, check out this week's Community Saturday, which was done on Sunday. And then, of course, check out the one-shot that I did yesterday and tonight's campaign game, 3 Feet from Death. They actually tie together, so if you are watching them, watch them in series, the one-shot will feed into the campaign, so that'll be super cool and fun to do. I think I'm going to do some more one-shots in the future where they kind of bleed into the campaign, and those guys have talked about possibly adding to our campaign letters, so check that out at the website, dropdice.com. As always, feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, and drag your friends kicking and screaming to my channel until they love Legend of the Five Rings as much as I do. All right, guys. As always, thank you for viewing, and I will see you at the gaming table.